Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex here with Freedom Mowers. I hope you all are doing well. If you're new to the channel, I appreciate y'all stopping by. We pretty much just take either free or cheap power equipment and try to fix it up, turn it around, make a profit, or just keep the cool stuff. So, I got this Kawasaki FR600V a few weeks back from a local scrapper who is also a YouTuber. So, Scrapping with Grandpa, I really appreciate you bringing me over some goodies. I actually got this engine and a Briggs & Stratton Vanguard V-twin as well. I do not know the history on either one of the engines. We're just going to be focusing on this one today. And I'm not really sure how to tell the year on Kawasaki's. Now this one is electric start, the other one has the pull starter on it. This one definitely got banged up a bit. I don't know whether it was just from being in his scrap trailer or whoever removed it or what was going on. There are a few things. Top shroud here was banged up a little bit. There was no oil cap on here, so I'm hoping that there's not any moisture down in the engine. I did spin it a little bit and it felt free. Other than that, everything looks to be pretty complete. So I did open up the air filter housing, and I'm assuming since this was turned on its side or whatever position it was in, we got some oil that crept by, and our air filter is almost fully soaked in oil. So we're just going to dive into things today, see if possibly we can get this up and running, see what the condition is, probably compression test it, and hopefully this will be a good unit for a future project. So a while back I actually kind of put this little unit together. It's just a pressure washer. It used to be an old pressure washer, it's just the mount for it. But I did strap a gas tank to it with a fuel shutoff valve and a fuel filter. I have never used this. I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to using it. So we should be good to just plop this thing right on here and put a couple bolts in and basically start testing. So alright, I don't have this mounted down yet, but I want to check the oil in here, if there even is any. Yeah, we've got absolutely nothing on the stick. I took this other dipstick off another Kawasaki that I have. So let's go ahead and get to the drain port and see if we can get anything out of it. Hopefully no water, but we'll see. Crack this loose. Yeah, we got a couple of drops coming out of it. Does not appear that there is any water in here though, thank goodness. I'll let this drain here for just a minute. I guess we'll go ahead and maybe just put some used oil in here. We'll try to spin this back over by hand. It's been a few weeks, we'll see how free it spins. I'm gonna get some mounting hardware in, just those 2 bolts I told you guys about. And then we can move forward with seeing if we can possibly get this thing to spin over. Alright, we are bolted down, so it definitely has a fair amount of compression still. Awesome. So let me top some used oil in here real quick. I'm not gonna put a bunch of fresh oil in here just to find out that this thing's blown up. I don't know, what would you guys do? Would you guys put brand new oil in here, or what would you put in? I don't know if I told you guys right at the beginning of the video, but I did pay for these engines. They were, well, I gave him $20 a piece for them just because I didn't know the condition. I was basically just paying for parts being unknown condition. Alright, we are right up to the full mark. We are full on the oil. What do you guys say? Before we try to spark test, compression test, all that stuff, I say we give a squirt of some starting fuel down here, we hit the starter, and see if we can get this thing to pop off on us. Let's hit this starter real quick before we do anything, see if our starter is even going to work. If it doesn't, I have another one for it. What I like to do is take the positive first, hook it straight to the starter, That way we're not arcing on the starter bolt and damaging the threads on that. So we'll get that on there, and then we'll just find us a good ground. Probably just go off from the valve cover. So, starter works. Alright, let's see, make sure everything else too. I did look over the linkages to see everything did seem to appear to work. That one would be our throttle. This one is our choke lever, and everything seems to be working. So let's hit it with some spray. Make sure y'all got a nice good view here, and it is about to be loud, so we shall see. There is no exhaust on here, and there's no way for me to mount because where they come out is right on the frame of this pressure washer. So hit this choke, and let's give it a rip. Nice. That is loud, super loud. Let's see if we can get this tank run into it. We need to supply power to our anti-backfire solenoid, which when this gets power, it pulls down the plunger to let fuel up in the carburetor. Let me see if I can run some kind of a jumper wire. Let me see what I can figure out, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm gonna do. Alright, and after a little finagling here, I've come up with a good idea for just getting the starter solenoid to work. I've got another lawn tractor battery that's been on the charger, so I made up 2 wires. I'll show y'all the other one that's not connected yet to the battery. So basically I just took 2 connectors, I put some heat shrink on the ends of them, that way they would not touch each other, and then just made 2 leads where I can just go to the battery. I'll show y'all. Let me hook this one up real quick. Alright, that one is on. The other one is actually connected to the battery, so we just need a positive and a negative going to that. And we've got that side set up so y'all can hear it now. So we'll just get that connected up, and then we should be good to go. So let me get some fuel in that tank, and we'll open up the valve and see if we've got any leaks, and hopefully we can just get this thing cranked up. Alright, we have some fuel in the tank here. I have never even used this fuel filter, so we'll watch this thing fill up. We'll watch it together. And we don't really have to worry about gravity because we have a fuel pump on here. We'll be able to see if our fuel pump is working. I did look earlier too to make sure that the pulse line going to it seemed like it was good and there was no cracks in it. Let's just give this thing a whirl so we can hook up our solenoid, if I can get this thing to stick in there. Alright, so our solenoid is now open. We should be able to get fuel flowing in there. We've got that hooked up to our starter. So let me put y'all on the tripod and I will go ahead and pop this thing. Hopefully we've got a good runner. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the choke on here as well. Alright, here we go. Alright, sorry guys, I had to shut that down. I'm pretty sure that the cylinders were full of oil. It's been about 5 minutes of trying to air out the shop here. I was trying to figure out how to shut this thing down. Learn from my mistakes. I started yanking the plug wires off. I should have just pulled the wire just to turn the fuel off to it, but I was not expecting it to get so smoky in here. I couldn't even see, so I was trying to figure out how to shut it down. It did sound decent, but good God, it was a smoke show in here. I don't know how much it picked up on the camera, but I literally could not even see in front of me in here. So we might be testing this outside next. But I'm hoping what happened was whatever oil was in here just got into the cylinders, and that's what was coming off from here. But you guys can see there was just a ton of oil came out of these cylinders. There's no exhaust on here, and I don't want to run it long. I just wanted to see if it was gonna run it all and, you know, see if we were healthy. I guess what we can do before I try to crank this thing back up is let's throw the compression tester on each cylinder and see where we're at, and we can kind of get a better idea as far as if this is, you know, head gasket ring issue, or if it's just some oil. We'll see what the engine's reading at, and then we can go from there. All right, well, I just pulled the first plug out. It is running some NGKRs. You guys can see this thing is totally just oil soaked. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the other one out. Oh yeah, that one was just dripping in oil. Let's see if it's just the standard size that goes on the hose. This hose always gets kinked and it's difficult to get started. All right, there we go. So we'll make sure we're snugged up on there. And we are clear. We'll go ahead and just pop this up here. I don't know if y'all can see it. Let me get some of this stuff out the way. We've got our plugs disconnected. That one's out. Fuel's turned off. So we'll just go ahead and spin the engine over a few times. I don't want the shroud hitting up there. All right, here we go. Oh, it'd help if I hooked the power back up to the starter. All right, here we go. I know I need to hold the throttle wide open while I'm doing this. Throttle's open. I am getting nothing here. So let's pop this thing off from here. And let's see if our cylinder is even moving. Because it seems like it's rotating real easy. So oh yeah, we got a blown connecting rod. You guys can see I'm getting nothing here. I'm having a hard time turning it over because I got the other spark plug back in. Let me pull this plug back out on this side so we can spin this over freely, and I'll show y'all. Yeah, we got nothing here. Got no movement. Where's my other hole here? All right. Yeah, this cylinder's good. Well, that's a bummer. It seemed like it was turning over nice. I didn't even think to pop out the plugs right to begin with and check. But you live and you learn. So I don't know. What do you guys think we should do with this? You think it should be a parts engine? Because I do have a few other Kawasaki's. And they may need some parts off from this. Or should we try to tear this down and do a rebuild, or at least a autopsy of what's going on inside. I guess you guys let me know. At least we got to try out our engine test stand today, which does work, and I've got some stuff rigged up from the future. That way we can get engines going and check for the fuel solenoid, make sure that's turning on. So at least we've got a good setup here, because I've got a ton. I mean, there's engine here. I've got like 6 or 8 more out there in the other shop. That's a real bummer on that. This thing was just blasting oil out, and we've got a dead cylinder. So you guys let me know what you want to see. We've got a lot of other projects coming up, and it wouldn't be too hard for me to at least do the autopsy on this. And if it is something, if it's just the connecting rod and the crank's not all scored up, you know, this would still be a good engine. We could do a rebuild on it. And I am trying to finish up the White Outdoors zero turn for you guys to watch. So yeah, I've got a lot going on. I'm trying to keep up with it all and bring you guys some fun content. So on that note, let freedom ring, let those small engines sing. I'll see you all next time.